Hey, what's up my fellow nerds, and welcome back to yet another episode of Just Cause 4. So, if you guys remember, a few days ago, I have made a video talking about all the leaked vehicles that are coming into Just Cause 4 in the form of the black market. And there was a bunch of really cool vehicles on that list. And in that video, I also did say that I wanted to make a follow-up video to that, talking about some of the vehicles that I'd like to see added into the game, you know? Hopefully, the Just Cause devs are listening to us, and maybe we're going to see some of those vehicles that we're going to talk about today. But if you missed the previous video, I do strongly recommend you watch that first before watching this one, so you have a better understanding of what I'm talking about and kind of all the additions that are hopefully gonna make their way into the game. Who the hell knows? So I did also go through all the comments on that previous video, and I just kind of compiled a list of some of the really cool vehicles that I'd love to see in Just Cause 4. And if you guys are excited for this video, make sure to leave a like on this and let me know in the comments down below, what is your favorite vehicle in the game so far? It could be also one of the leaked vehicles that I've talked about in that video. I just want to hear you guys' comments in the comments section down below. But anyway, let's just begin with the first vehicle. The Sky Fortress from Just Cause 3, which I have to say was hands down my favorite DLC for any Just Cause game. And essentially, what I envisioned is kind of a scaled down version of the Sky Fortress from Just Cause 3, but slightly modified. Modified in a sense that it would have a small runway for, let's say, 2 or 3 microjets, as well as a bunch of weapons and kind of cannons that can be mounted by the player. Obviously, this thing would be fully controllable, so you would be able to basically just cruise across the entire map in this thing. So it would have a hover ability whenever you're manning the weapon, so that way obviously the Sky Fortress isn't gonna just kind of plummet down and crash into the ground. As well as a little kind of defensive ability, the ability to launch drones. You know the weapons in the game right now that have the secondary fire option, which basically spawns in a little drone, but imagine if you press the little button, and essentially what that would do is spawn in, let's say, 5 to 6 of these drones all around the Sky Fortress. So it would be an actual fortress in the sky with guns, so you can shoot out air vehicles, you can shoot on the ground, maybe you can bomb the ground if you want to as well. You've got these 3 microjets that spawn on the runway as well that you can just kind of take off and fly around. In my opinion, that would just create so many cool stunt possibilities, just have so many cool moments and epic fights using this Sky Fortress. Next one on the list is a weaponized cargo plane, kind of like the AC-130 or the World War II Flying Fortress bomber. So obviously if you go down the route of the AC-130, I would imagine it would have the guns mounted on its side, and essentially once you switch into the guns, whatever direction you're flying in, it's just gonna maintain that flight path with the same speed. So it's not gonna slow down and crash into a mountain or any of that sort of stuff. So once you get it high enough and it's flying straight, once you switch to the guns, it's basically going to maintain that. I'd still love to have like even a smaller cargo hold at the back, you know, because you would have to obviously fill up the space with some sort of gunner seats, whatever you want to call it. But it still would be cool to have like a small cargo bay at the back so you can fly jets in, or maybe transport jets in it, whatever you want to call it. Or for example, have something like the World War II Flying Fortress bomber. So essentially, once again, you're gonna be able to switch to the gunner seat at the front, at the back, maybe the wings underneath the plane or something like that. And obviously the ability to bomb the absolute crap out of all of the citizens of Solis. That would be just kind of fun, in my personal opinion. So the next one is kind of a hot topic right now, related to the newly found Nuke. Let us have a custom Nuke bomber jet, or a plane, whatever you want to call it. So a custom model, or maybe like a scaled up version of the current bomber jet that we have in the game, that would just basically give us the ability to drop multiple nukes across Solis. You know, drop it on the biggest cities, drop it on all the bases, do whatever you want with them. Just give us the ability to have fun with the nuke, okay? I would even take it if you just made it so the nuke doesn't despawn once you pick it up, because that way we're gonna be able to modify the cargo plane in order to have that, essentially. Or maybe give it to us in one of the supply drops as well, so that would make things a lot more easier. This one has been a highly requested vehicle to be added into Just Cause for as long as I can actually remember. Essentially, give us a proper submarine in this game. I'm not talking about something huge, it can be kind of small, but just the ability to obviously explore the oceans and stuff like that, and obviously the ability to also surface with the submarine and shoot missiles, kind of like the current boats that we have in Just Cause 4, the ones that basically shoot the missiles in the sky, and then they just kind of auto-target onto the target. That is perfect English, I'll tell you that much. But you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Just give us a submarine in the game, because I think everybody would love to explore the oceans in this game. This one is kind of my imagination going a little bit wild, okay? How about a rideable rocket? Do you remember that mission from Just Cause 3 where Rico was essentially riding a rocket and then kind of, you know, continued to punch it? Because that's exactly what you do. But just imagine a small rocket that would be able to spawn in, or maybe a giant rocket, you know, the bigger the better actually now that I think about it. And just to make it a little bit more comical, put a saddle on it, you know, a horse's saddle, so you can basically mount it and ride it around Solis. And on impact, obviously, once you crash it into something, it would cause a massive explosion and would send Rico absolutely flying. That wouldn't kill you, though, because that would be kind of boring if it killed you. Just send him flying in any random direction. I feel like that would be just so much fun to have in the game. The next one would be the flying bike. So the inspiration for that came from GTA 5. I used to do a lot of videos on GTA 5 and I absolutely love the vehicles in that game. And one of my favorite vehicles in there was the Oppressor. So essentially it was a bike that you were able to obviously ride on the ground, but then you could deploy the wings and you could boost into the sky and you can kind of glide it around for a little bit before boosting again. So essentially I'd love to have something similar in Just Cause 4. The ability to drive and fly at the same time using this vehicle and have some sort of missiles or miniguns on the front of it to add some more action into the game, you know, an ability to basically tackle the Black Hand or perform any sort of challenges you want in a flying bike. Last but not least, let's talk about a potential of a UFO or an alien ship. If you guys know me, I'm kind of a sucker for sci-fi and anything space related, so having some sort of a spacecraft inside Just Cause 4 would just be so much fun. I mean, just imagine some sort of a flying saucer inside a Just Cause game. Obviously, with it being kind of alien and space technology, it would have to be absolutely crazy and wild. Some sort of super speed, of course advanced alien weaponry, some sort of a shield ability, which they kind of have already in the game with the Daredevils of Destruction DLC, how one of the cars can cause some sort of an EMP with its shield and stuff like that. Wait, I don't think it actually causes an EMP. I think it's just a shield. The EMP might be a different thing that I'm thinking about. Never mind, but you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Just kind of like an alien ship to be added into Just Cause 4 would be super fun. On top of that, I'd actually like to see a lot of the vehicles from Just Cause 2 and Just Cause 3 to be making a comeback in Just Cause 4. Kind of release them as super packs, for example, or legacy packs, where you would have, let's say, all the sports cars from Just Cause 3 would come out in one update, remastered for Just Cause 4. Or for example, the military vehicles, all the planes, boats, stuff like that, just to be added into Just Cause 4 to make it more fun and add more kind of variety for vehicles and just kind of player choice. Because I think that's kind of what people are craving inside Just Cause 4, just have the choice to do whatever they want with as many vehicles as possible. And just I was kind of thinking about all of these vehicles, it just kind of occurred to me, what if the Just Cause developers did some sort of a competition or a community challenge to design a community vehicle to be added into Just Cause 4? They did something similar with the Dragon Launcher for the game, where they basically ran some sort of a competition and the winner basically had its weapon added into the game. So imagine if they did something like that, but with a vehicle, you know, where the community would, let's say, vote. First they would give us a list of what type of vehicle is it going to be. Is it going to be an air vehicle, land vehicle, sea vehicle, whatever? And obviously we would vote for it, and then the winner would take it to the next stage. So okay, it's an air vehicle. Is it going to be big, large, like whatever? It would just kind of like, you know, we would kind of shape the development of this vehicle. Obviously, this vehicle would be absolutely insane because it would be shaped by the community, but I think it would be just so cool to have something like that in the game, and it would really bring the community together. So we'll have to kind of wait and see. Who knows? Maybe this video is going to give them some ideas for this. So fingers crossed they're going to see this, and if you do, thank you so much for adding all this content into the game. I'm having so much fun. I genuinely am. Especially the toy vehicles. My goodness. But yeah, it's just kind of like ideas running around my head, so I thought I'd share them with you guys. But anyway, that is gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new to the channel for plenty more Just Cause 4 content. And I shall see you guys next time. Take care, goodbye. Bye 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 bye.